guys. You ready for another Q&A? You guys have been asking a lot of questions, so I wrote some of them down, and maybe I can offer you guys some answers. First one was from Daniel Corona, who wrote, "Hey Marty, how about another Q&A?" Here you go, Daniel. He would like to know my future plans for the motors. Are you going to try to pull them out yourself? And yeah, the motors on the boat. The thing about that is, well, I'm going to try every effort to get them to turn. Although I was able to get a breaker bar on the harmonic balancer bolt and try to turn it by hand, and it still won't budge. And that's the good motor. There's a motor that has, the port motor's got water in the crankcase, so it might be best to just replace them. And you know, 2 new motors would be about $6,000, which I don't have right now. Not if I exhausted all my savings would I have $6,000 to spend. So, you know, some people have asked about a GoFundMe page and this to help pay for that, so we can get the boat running, and then I can get rid of my house and then just go out on some serious adventures. And of course, take you guys along and offer you content. And it's a good idea. I mean, with the number of subscribers I have now, if everybody gave 25 cents, I would have more than enough to get that boat running, so that you turn the key and boom, you know, they would start right up. The thing is, I mean, I've never been that type of guy to say, hey man, can I borrow this, can I borrow that? I've always been the kind of guy who just does everything I can for myself, you know. Usually by the time I ask for help, you know, I'm pinned underneath something that's really heavy and I'm like, little help. You know, so hopefully I don't get that deep in trouble with the boat, but I do want to try some other things first before I ask for any handouts or anything. So I appreciate that. And Daniel, yes, I do plan on pulling the motors myself. If I had new motors, pulling them really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Next question comes from Jacob Watts. He writes, what type of kayak would you recommend for a 165 centimeter boy? I fish regularly. 165 centimeters. That's, I'm not really too good with math, but that means you're like this tall, right? I mean, I'm a short guy, so I sympathize with you. So if you're that small, I guess, I mean, heck, you could probably make something out of a bottle like this. You know, just take an old soda bottle and cut it open. And you probably, you know, you want to put some tubing around the outside of it so you don't cut yourself. And you could spray paint it red. And for a paddle, I guess you could use 2 spoons with like some duct tape on it. So, I hope that helps you, Jacob. Next question, serious question. Kalyn Cattinger, what are your favorite Snook artificial baits? This one I can answer for sure because it's my favorite, not necessarily the best. But, I mean, hey, I got probably my favorite right here. You see that thing? That's like the exact same lure that a guy named Tim gave me once out on the flats before I knew what artificials were. And that there's nothing like throwing a topwater right next to a tree and kaboosh, you know, this snook comes up from underneath and grabs it. It's absolutely my favorite. But I have another one here in my pocket for when topwater doesn't really work too well, and that's a Zoom Super Fluke. I believe that's what it's called. And depending on what hook you use with these, you can have them just kind of swimming through the water, or you can have them bouncing along the bottom like this. So these are very effective lures, and I've caught plenty of snook with this. This would be probably my second favorite. So that answers Colin's question. What else do we have? Daven Ajax, have you been in any dangerous situations while kayak fishing? I have been out a few times when the water really got rough, and fortunately I always hold to that idea that, you know, you paddle into the wind first, so that if you get really tired or the wind really starts picking up, you can just turn around and the wind will take you back home. But I have been in some gnarly situations where the wind really picked up and kind of shifted a little bit, and you just put your life jacket on and you head for home. Fortunately, that's the most dangerous situation I've ever been in. And we also have Kalyn McBride asks me, how do you get the hands-free away from the kayak shots like when you're waving goodbye? And well, the way I do that, I'm using it right now. I just use a piece of PVC and I cut the end of it off, and then I kind of stick it into the sand, and I use a clamp with my GoPro and set it up just like this here. I can take the camera off. You can see the PVC there, and you see how the end of it is tapered so that it just kind of sinks down into the sand. And then I'll use this clamp here, attachment for the GoPro, and kind of stick it where I want. It's a piece of cake. And when I'm out on the water, I'll sink it down into the sand and paddle away, and that's how I get those shots. Let's see, and the last question I've got comes from Linden and Vern, and they wanted to know, how did you get into fishing? And that's a funny thing that you should ask, because I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, I remember.
What's this? A ring.
Well, thank you, Linden and Vern, for asking that very personal question. And thank you, everybody else, for watching. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below and I'll answer them. You know, unless it's questions like, why are you such an ugly, stupid face? You know, those questions I tend not to answer. But if you have a serious question you want, and it's something that I can answer, I'll write you back. Or you can go to my Facebook page and you can write me there and see all kinds of behind-the-scene footage and stuff from the new boat and how the motors are going, and, you know, what I'm eating for dinner, because that's important stuff. So until then, I will see you guys out on the water. Thanks for watching.